world needs to bow its head. I urge and I demand. For what? From criminalization to decriminalization to recriminalization to no more criminalization on the grounds of gender identity and sexuality, thanks to my Honorable Supreme Court of India's Constitution bench saying that we cannot belong to no more criminal community in 21st century. Thank you, my Samaja. I did not understand the institution of family. I did not understand the institution of society. I did not understand my institution of legislation. I did not understand my institution of parliament. I did not understand my institution of the so-called social morality. But I ensured my society shall understand the politics of identity and sexuality is at most dignified than anyone else, and the society has no duty, the society has no responsibility in discriminating or stigmatizing or traumatizing the section of society we are part of it. With proud pride and dignity, I am here being part of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, Jogappa, Marladi, Shivashakti, Jokta, Akwa, Nirvan, Satla, Panti Satla, and distinguished human beings at this TEDxGundiCircle, Davanagere. Thank you, Mr. Dean, for having us here. My heartfelt thanks to one and all gathered here. I strongly believe sharing story is not so easy. But through sharing story, we can really bring or converge tomorrow's world with no discrimination on the grounds of identity and sexuality. I was born a male. I was taught to practice the notion of patriarchy and power. I did so when my parents told, you are born a male, you have to practice man. If I am not practicing man, I am not eligible to be part of such social institution. I was trying to kill myself at the age of 11th and 12th. My second attempt to kill myself, my question back, my rope, why I should die. I am perfect and you are not perfect. You means my society, my patriarchy, my so-called notion of judging people's attitude, and I took the determination to fight back the larger society in saying that, yes, India belongs to me, I belong to the world. There is no compromise on this ground. If you are judging, need to question back, who are you to judge my identity? With that big amount of question mark from since almost 25-30 years of huge agitation as a community fighting against all forms of social exclusion, all forms of structural discrimination, all forms of so-called patriarchally rooted violence to ensure that we are part of a just and non-discriminatory world. In this entire situation, I think my video has witnessed what it is exactly all about. But as a community in 21st century, I think we are still struggling for identity, sexuality, right to education, employment, right to marry, right to inheritance, and many other stuffs of it. Yes, this is not the issue of Bangalore, not the issue of Karnataka, not the issue of India. It is a question of the global sexual minority and transgender and intersex communities. How do we come together to fight against all forms of social exclusion? Until we see social justice, it is so difficult for all of us to bring the social inclusive agenda amongst the existing common human beings that we are born with. Globally, there needs to be the voices that should be heard across the levels of our society. Nationally, as I mentioned, I thank the Supreme Court of India for delivering the verdict of saying that we are equal citizens before the Constitution of India, quoting that we are no more criminals. I think my country needs to be in such long term. I think the title which was brought to me called Beat the Odd. I think as I mentioned, I failed to understand society, but today wanting to break the odd, let society understands our identity. Let the society understand my sexuality. Let the society understand our existence. I think I would say that my existence is a resilience against every sort of notion of society. As I mentioned, you cannot compromise identity. You cannot compromise sexuality. As I said, with pride and dignity, Akkai Padmashali is all of with you. I also urge through this forum to the larger society, do not discriminate. Do not violate our rights. Do not resist. Do not ensure that we are no more so-called human beings, but we want to be part of you. We want to be part of larger society, and we want to be part of across levels of section, including the social, the economic, the cultural, the traditional, and the political structures that are existing. With this, I want to conclude and say dhanyavada to each and every human being that we are born here, we are gathered here. And finally, I would say that judge not, support gender identity, judge not, support sexual diversity. Thank you, TEDxGundiCircle Davanagere. Namaskara.